Hey guys, Simon from ARB Shepparton. One of the great things about being in sales for over 20 years is the people you get to meet and the stories they tell. I find it fascinating to sit down with a customer and go through all the places they've been, the things they've done and the things they've seen. So we want to bring some of those stories to you. So we're going to grab a group of customers, head up the bush, do some four-wheel driving and let them tell you their story. So sit back, relax, stay tuned while we bring you ARB Shepparton's four-wheel driving with friends. Hey guys, Simon from ARB Shepparton. Welcome to another episode of ARB Shepparton's four-wheel driving with friends. Today we've got something a little bit different. We don't have a customer with us. We've got our very own sales manager, Mr. Jed Wilkinson. Jed, welcome aboard.
Thanks, Simon. Thanks for having me.
So Jed, tell us where it all began, mate.
I was born in Ballara in Latrobe Valley. Went to school there in the primary school. Then started year 8. We moved up to Shepparton. Did all my schooling here in Shep, and then got a job after school.
Okay, so what was your first job that you went to? And
first job, I got an apprenticeship, so I left school at the end of year 11. Did a mechanic apprenticeship at Parker Brothers, which then turned into Thompson Motor Group.
And your first vehicle, mate, what did you start off with driving?
First vehicle was I had a VX Commodore for a short period of time. Then I ended up getting a Holden VS Statesman V8. So yeah, that was the main two cars I had to start off with.
Statesman's a little bit different to a four-wheel drive, mate. So what made you get into the four-wheel drive?
Probably the main reason I got into four-wheel driving was probably just to get out of the eye of the local police. Probably doing the wrong thing around the street. So, getting up into the bush, getting away with it, a little bit slower paced. Definitely seemed to work a bit better for me.
Couple too many skids in your younger days, mate.
Yeah, we used to get in a bit of strife there with the police and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, we got into the four-wheel drive scene and sort of took it off-road and out of sight, out of mind. So it was quite good. Yeah. Yeah,
right. So what was once we ventured into four-wheel drive, what was the first four-wheel drive you ever owned?
Four-wheel drive's always been a patrol man, essentially. The first vehicle was actually a Ford Maverick, which is the same thing as a GQ Patrol. So I had that to start off with. It was a petrol on gas. It was not a bad car, and then ended up wrecking that and went on to an array of four-wheel drives. Probably had 10 or 15 GQ Patrols in between now and then. 10
or 15?
Yeah, had a few of them. Just heaps of different variations in them, whether they're youths or petrols or diesels or any of that sort of stuff. I had quite a few of them.
So I obviously know a little bit about you because we work very closely together. But tell everyone, do you just go out recreational four-wheel driving, or do you competitions or?
So to start off with, in the early days, there's a bit of recreational stuff, and then that through some friends that used to do some competition stuff, got pretty keen on that, and used to do a bit of winch challenge stuff in the early days, around 2009, 2010 area. So built a bit of a cut down GQ and raced that with my brother, and it was always good fun. Had a good bit of fun there. It was always good with your mates, always working on your cars and then racing them and fixing them and all that sort of stuff. Spent a lot of time up in the strap bogies doing a lot of four-wheel driving up here, different variations of vehicles and wrecking them and all that sort of jazz. So it's been quite good. Then in the later years, I've still got a comp truck there at home in the shed, but I also got this Patrol here as well, which I probably in the last 5 or 6, 7 years I've been doing a fair bit of camping with the family and camper trailer and stuff like that. Explored a lot of the high country and things like that. Still do hard stuff in the middle of winter. But yeah, probably mix it up now, a bit of both.
So your four-wheel driving, when you get out and about on the tracks, is a little bit different to a lot of them. It's similar competition stuff that you would do just Like, is that just practice run stuff for when you used to do your comps, or you just enjoy it really hard?
Yeah, I just thoroughly enjoy doing the harder tracks. Pretty much anything that's technical or anything that's fast. I traditionally like to do something, I'm moving along the bush pretty quickly. I enjoy going fast or doing harder stuff, winching, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, I just find the challenge of it exciting, and yeah, it's just also good camaraderie with your mates and all that sort of stuff. You're up the bush, and if someone can't get up an obstacle and everyone's sort of, I don't know, hurling abuse at each other or picking on each other or cheering them on, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I just think it's pretty good.
Yeah, okay. So you mentioned competitions. What's the favourite competition you've done, or what's the most memorable experience from a competition that you've come across?
Competition stuff that was always good. There's probably 2 or 3 that jump to mind that were probably what I enjoy the most or can think of the most. One was the Tico Warm Winch Challenge back in 2009. That was great because it's just a big event, nice hard tracks. It was quite good like that. Another one would be at the same property. We did a thing called the On Track Triple S. It was a teams event. Raced with a couple of mates, navigators and driving, and it was all the tracks linked together. So it was just a challenge just to finish essentially. There wasn't many guys that finished, and it sort of just went all day. So it was just continually winching and fixing stuff and getting through it, and yeah, that was quite good. And then also the Angle Series of round 1 down at Nuji was always a good one. So yeah, I made a really good mate of mine there. So yeah, that's quite memorable as well.
Have you done, I know a lot of guys talk about the Outback Challenge and stuff. Have you done an Outback Challenge?
Outback Challenge is probably a little bit of a sore point. In 2016 I was going to do the Outback Challenge, got a car ready, and then it was essentially got rained out and was cancelled the week beforehand. So yeah, we tipped a lot of effort into prepping a vehicle, all that sort of stuff, and yeah, it got cancelled and I didn't get to do it. So they ran it the following year, but it just didn't work with my family life to go and do it the second year. So yeah, it's something that box hasn't been ticked. So you never know, it might happen and it might not. So yeah.
Obviously you've got a young family.
Yep.
So is it the Outback Challenge something you'd like to do later on? Still burns inside?
Oh, it does a bit, yeah, for sure. Is it something? I'm not sure. It just depends on where life takes you. At the moment, I don't have any. I don't need to go and do it. I'm happy doing what I'm doing. I enjoy doing the social side of things of four-wheel driving, happy doing the family side of it as well. Yeah, just obviously it's a fairly big outlay to do that, to race that sort of event. So yeah, I think, one day I'd like to do it, but yeah, it's not guaranteed, that's for sure.
Yeah, cool. So obviously we've done some challenges, we've done some competition stuff. We obviously get out with your mates on the weekends and stuff like that. You do a bit of camping and everything like that. You caravan, your tent, swags. What do you do?
So traditionally, obviously, when we come up the bush with, just the boys as such, we generally camp in swags, swags and stretchers. That's about it. Then when I'm with my family, I've got a camper trailer. So it's an off-road camper, which is pretty good. It's Australian-built unit, nice and strong, relatively basic, and I've had that for 7 years now. And that's what I traditionally use when we're going away with the family. And that's done a heap of trips. I don't know how many times I've used that. I couldn't even remember. It's well and truly paid for itself, that's for sure. Do plenty of it.
Awesome. Now, you've been with us for 6 years.
Yeah.
You were obviously a mechanic for a fair while, and then you moved across to Shep four-wheel drive.
Yeah.
What made you want to change from mechanical to into sales?
Well, when I changed, I was obviously just turned qualified. I've been qualified for 12 months or so, maybe a little bit longer. I can't quite remember at the time. Four-wheel drive was my passion. I was obviously working on them all the time at home in the shed on my own stuff. We're racing them, we're always up here, so I just had a big thing for four-wheel drives. The job that I originally went for was a sort of stock control / parts fitting / admin sales role. Like, it was just a bit of a generalised role at ARB, or Shep four-wheel drive at the time. So yeah, I sort of thought, I wouldn't mind getting down there. I really enjoy the four-wheel drive scene. So yeah, went for the job down there and progressed into, did a lot of stock control stuff, and then yeah, sort of worked my way into the sales side of things. Obviously enjoy talking with the customers and quite passionate about the product, and just getting out and about and having a look around.
Cool. So we've obviously owned the place for 6 years. As I said, you started, you were sales with us sort of thing. We brought you forward, and you've come a long way in that time, in that 6 years. To be honest, mate, I'd put you up against any sales manager in Australia for your knowledge and your expertise and your sales experience now. Do you still love doing that? And
yeah, I still enjoy I just enjoy talking to people. That's probably the biggest thing. Yeah, really enjoy just getting out there, speaking to people, learning about, you know, what they're doing with their trip, what they're doing with their car. A lot of the competition stuff or whatever we've done out here in the bush doesn't really apply to what we do at work, but what I do with my family, all the touring around with that, it always helps. But yeah, anything to do with getting out and seeing around the world, or not around the world, around Australia, is just really interesting. And yeah, I just enjoy dealing with people and just helping them get the right product for what they're going to do. So yeah, I just enjoy it.
Yeah, okay. Do you actually enjoy the aspect of reading up and being as knowledgeable as you can? Because you are very knowledgeable in the four-wheel drive industry, and it seems like once you start looking at something, you really delve into it and make sure you're sort of going to be the best at it that you can be. Yeah, I think
probably the biggest thing that I try and do is every day that I'm around, I try and learn something new. So whether that's to do with four-wheel driving or just generalised mechanical or automotive traditionally, because I'm right into that. Yeah, I just want to try and learn something new every single day. So every day I learn something new. I think it's worthwhile. Obviously, we've got lots of things now out there, social media, YouTube, all that sort of stuff. So there's lots of information around to be had. So predominantly, if you went through my newsfeed on Facebook or something like that, it's all four-wheel drive based. Obviously, algorithms, I like lots of four-wheel drive stuff. So yeah, most of the time I'm generally looking or reading at something to do with four-wheel driving. So
yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it always helps. So just keeping up to date with what's out on the market, what's the newest products, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, fantastic. So let's go back to your own personal stuff. You've done a few trips in your time, as in you get away camp with the family. Have you done some trips or?
Yeah. So obviously the high country, I've had a fairly good crack at looking around there. Done a bit up and around a lot of New South Wales coast, up to Fraser Island. That's probably one of the better trips I've done. Went up there for, I think we spent 11 nights on the island, free camped up there. It was brilliant. Love it back there. The kids loved it. It was really good. Like to go back there soon. It'd be great.
Yeah. Have you got it, other than that one, have you got anything else you're sort of looking forward to? Or?
Looking forward to just getting out there. Obviously when the borders open up and don't give us any more grief and all that sort of jazz, it'd be great. I'd love to be able to try and organise a trip and get away. Done a fair bit in the high country. Enjoy the area over to the eastern side of the high country, over towards Mount Pinnabar, over Davies High Plains, all that sort of area is pretty good as well. Not a lot of people get that far over, so yeah, it's pretty good to see that area. Was affected by the bushfires 12 months ago, but I think it would be starting to regrow pretty quickly.
All right, so for those that don't know, you did briefly touch on it before, that you've got a truck in the shed at the moment.
Yeah.
It's probably, what, 4 or 5 years in the making?
Yeah.
When do we expect this truck to hit the road, mate? So.
Yeah, shortly. Yeah, so essentially in 2016 we got it ready to go, and then after that I sort of stripped it back apart again, and it's sort of sat there since then. Sort of get it out and start it every couple of years. I did get it going the other day actually and put it into the work bay, I call it, I suppose, or next to the work bay, so it's making its way slowly into the right spot to be worked on. Spent a day working on it, mucking around, so yeah, I don't know, the concept is we'll get there sooner than later. It's definitely on the cards, that's for sure. I'd like to have it up and have it out again this year, that's for sure. At least probably halfway through the winter, once it gets nice and wet, I'd like to see it back up in the bush.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so Jed, we've touched on a lot of your stuff. Obviously, we're in a different world at the moment with the whole COVID thing and everything. What have you found different to this whole period? And
what have I found different? Obviously, the freedoms of being able just to travel the country. You can't just say, "Oh, yeah, I'm going to take a trip, into Queensland or into New South Wales or Western Australia." So if you are planning to do a bigger trip, you have to sort of think about it a little bit more. the whole COVID thing hasn't affected me a whole lot apart from that. You know, being at home, we've got a nice size area there, it's good. Probably the biggest effect would be at work. The amount of people coming in to buy product for their four-wheel drives at the moment is crazy. I've never seen anything like it. And you know, I sit there and look at it and think, oh, it's really great. And the reason I think it is because obviously you can't do overseas travel. So huge amount of money spent on that. So, you know, people are just there you keep going.
Sorry to eat a leaf.
Yeah, so people are just spending money on their four-wheel drive so they can travel Australia. So that's the biggest thing at the moment. So, you know, the demand is huge on our industry. It doesn't matter who the supplier is, they're just struggling just to physically keep up. So yeah, instead of being able to get a product fitted on the vehicle within, you know, 2, 3, 4 weeks, whatever it traditionally would be, now it's sort of, you know, we can be waiting months for a product because the demand is just that huge. So yeah, that's probably the biggest thing. It's quite hard. You've got to explain to people that, you know, we're not necessarily going to see your product straight away like we normally would. So yeah, all I can say is that, you know, people need to be probably aware that if we want something to go for next month, we need to get onto it as soon as we possibly can. So yeah, that's been the biggest change, I think.
A lot of new customers to the industry.
Yep,
so
yep, it's
whether
massive.
that's full driving or caravanning or anything like
exactly
that.
Right, and that flows through to everybody. Like a lot of people are busy. You know, some people aren't, unfortunately, but yeah, the guys are lucky enough. It is quite busy. Yeah,
awesome.
For sure.
Well, we might wrap it up there, Jed. I hope everyone got to hear your story and they know all about you now. So it's
brilliant.
Thanks very much.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
So there you go, guys. Another episode of ARB Shepparton's Four-Wheel Driving with Friends. Hope you enjoyed it. And remember, ARB Shepparton, 180 Benalla Road. We'll see you there. ARB Shepparton's Four-Wheel Driving for...
Otherwise, I'm totally prepared.
Maybe a sandwich on your tooth.
What?
That's where it all began, mate.
Yeah, well, how about that? You know what I was thinking? I was thinking like, that's how it all began.